In Unit 1, most states build power through bureaucracy and unity. States in the Americas also built massive empires, but there's also that little layer of human sacrifice. In this video, we're not talking about an empire or a region in Afro-Eurasia. And for these regions in the Americas, there's only one thing we need to be able to answer. What are the big states in the Americas, and how did they develop and maintain power in Period 1? There are two major civilizations in the Americas that get more mention than other civilizations in the Americas on the AP exam during Period 1. The Aztecs, or the Mexica Empire, and the Inca Empire. Let's start with the Aztecs. The Aztecs spread out to have regional control based primarily in what is modern-day central Mexico. Their capital city of Tenochtitlan was in the middle of an island on Lake Texcoco, surrounded by floating man-made gardens called chinampas. These gardens increased the amount of space for food production around the capital city. Their government was loosely structured and unstable. It contained no elaborate bureaucracy to maintain territory, which worked for them until there were problems. Compared to all the other civilizations that have thrived in Unit 1 so far, the Aztecs are the exception to the rule for how they politically organize their society. Notice, though, that in this portrayal of the Aztec capital, they had placed their tall religious structures in the center. That's important. The government structure that was there was technically a theocracy based on their faith. The government's focus, in part, was to ensure human sacrifices were available for rituals that were used to give energy to their deities. Listen to this. They believed that if they did not give enough energy through blood sacrifice, then the sun would lose energy and plunge into darkness. Imagine the fear of that if you did not provide enough blood sacrifice, the sun might not rise the next day. Talk about pressure and creating a sense of urgency. Part of the way that they secured people to sacrifice to their gods was a tribute system established over people that they conquered. While they had no bureaucracy to organize this, when they captured a community or a people somewhere in the region, they demanded tribute from them. This tribute system required conquered people to provide them resources or people to sacrifice in order to maintain stability. You could argue the Aztec Empire ran on fear. Not random violence, but the fear from a belief system that said the gods required sacrifice. Conquest essentially fueled their gods. Aztec rulers left the conquered people alone as long as they paid tribute. The Aztecs were seemingly the opposite, though, from their neighbors to the south, in the Andes Mountains of South America, the Inca. Look for how they choose to maintain power and how different it is from the Aztecs. The Incas start by choosing to live and thrive in a region that almost no other successful civilization in human history chooses to live in: mountains. Almost every other civilization in human history that survived for a long period of time chose to live on flat land or very close to water. Oddly, just like the Aztecs. But the Incas were based nowhere near a lake, but on mountaintops. Without the ability to grow crops on flat ground, the Inca used two unique forms of agriculture in the mountains. One was terraced farming. They would build small plateaus in the style of a staircase up the sides of mountains and then plant crops on the flattened steppes. While most societies in history at this point had grown crops on flat land near rivers, the terrace farming showed the innovation and tenacity of the Inca. Along with terrace farming, the Inca also used a system called waruwaru, which was raised fields that helped to manage the flow of water in the mountains and prevent crop failure. The Inca were well organized under their emperor into a large, complex political organization. The emperor of the Inca was believed by the people to be a descendant of their sun god. Thus, this authority helped unify the empire. While they did conquer and expand, such as the Aztecs, conquered people were forced to assimilate politically and culturally and acknowledge the Inca gods and their emperor. The Inca did not require conquered people to pay them tribute, but they were required to work for the state in the mitasystem. Citizens of the broader empire would mine, farm, or build projects for the government instead of financial taxation. So you didn't pay your taxes with money, but with your time, energy, and by putting your back into it. Take a look at this chart of the two societies we talked about today in the Americas. They could not be more politically different, but were able to manage their societies using religion and cultural beliefs to validate political authority. Here's a quick recap of what we covered in today's video. The Aztecs were loosely structured and unstable and ruled through conquest and human sacrifice. The Inca ruled through a strong bureaucracy and ruled through unity and allegiance to their emperor. Both civilizations used religious authority to justify political power. Check out a free resource guide for this video in the description below. Then go ahead and dive into my other Unit 1 videos. Have a great day!